Um, I don't have a keychain, so I tied a house key to my headphones, so. Test. Testing. Okay, cool. It works. So, today's topic is a great topic. I am going to be talking about creativity, sentience, and um, how this will destroy the world again. So I wrote this a few days ago, and look at it. It's just nonsense. And now I got to piece it together of what I was trying to say, and that is creativity and intuition. But my first line here is the world ends with 3 Tuesday, yellow, green, and spring. And now I remember what I was talking about here. All right, so okay, 3, right? It's a number, and it's also like used for placements of things and stuff. So let's say the third day of the week, it's around 3, right there in that column, right? And if you're gonna look at like the most stereotypical like color spectrum graph, it's like a linear one, and you're gonna see a yellow green right around the 30% mark. So the reason I bring this up is I keep seeing on TikTok and Twitter, all of them, where they're trying to say like, oh, when they're a burgundy red and an autumn Thursday person, and everyone's trying to like understand what the hell that means or why they know what that means. And the way creativity in the mind stores information is within columns. It is not something that is any kind of pictograph column, but we can at least map these things, and I can tell you why I would associate those closer together. And it's like an Excel spreadsheet, and we're matching those columns together, and that's where creativity comes from. And that's why if you were to look at calendars for kids when they're trying to teach them the days of the week, they use these certain colors. Green, yellow is used a lot for Tuesday for that exact reason. It's just a proximity based thing. Our minds automatically do this in the subconscious, okay? That's where all this is going down. Um, and this is sort of how dreams work, too. This is what dreams do, is it takes all that information and just kind of compiles it together into a storyline in your head. And this becomes very important for survival because you're troubleshooting issues that haven't happened yet. And your mind doesn't know what's going to happen. So it does that proximity based thing by making up an issue to then solve. Okay, all right, so yeah, so philosophers used to ask more endless questions of like, never like why or how are we, it was just what are we, and it was, the answer was people, and we came to the determination of what a soul was. And that was it. The Bible, religious, all of this philosophy was just defining heart, just defining soul. But we got away from those terms, and now we have way more advancements. We know down to the molecular structures of what we are. Okay, but why those molecular structures exist and how they work is a better question. And that's where we're at now. And that's why we're having this identity crisis. We're all having this existential identity crisis. Globally, this is a renaissance of sentience. And it's because we've gotten so past the need to, those mundane questions of like featherless biped. So, right. So there was a comfortable stagnation. I should have wrote down more. Okay, yeah. Comfortability brought stagnation, and that kind of like festered into a pond scum that now even Redditors are asking philosophical questions, and they got half a brain. Anyway, so yeah, we're asking these questions of why cognition is the way it is, and not necessarily how. We can see certain mappings, and we're getting better technology to map those things, and that's not even what's the question at this moment. It's just cognition in general. Why is red an angry color, right? I mean, that one's a fairly simple one. Blood, right? It's violent, it's visceral. Okay, but now what about why is red Thursday? If I were to say that, I know there's going to be a lot of other people who agree with me and not agree with me based on suggestibility. They just would. And why is that? And it's that column proximity thing, right? And that is what creativity is. Most creative thought is just an expression of things that have already existed. That's like there's this concept people are angry about is the rebranding, the regurgitation of content. Movies from the 80s, they bring them back. Okay, those movies from the 80s were based on Shakespearean plays. Nothing's new. Nothing's new. It just can be done either worse or better. That's all. Anyway, mapping those leaps of cognition and how the average person is going to react to certain things. And then there's obviously differentials in that. There's going to be extraordinary thinkers and simplistic thinkers, okay? So you need to map all of that cognitive processing out, and that's what AI is. So this renaissance of sentience and this, global identity crisis is what has given us Will Smith's robots, and I'm excited. Oh yeah. So I don't know. This is just some. I don't care. The video's going up. I don't care. Maybe it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and maybe it's hard to follow, but my fan base knows what they're getting into. They know. This isn't new.